I've got to be honest, I had my doubts that an airport would actually fix traffic. And I suppose in fairness, the airport itself didn't fix traffic. But moving the post-sorting facilities out to their own little space near the airports kind of did fix traffic. That is, of course, unless you happen to be a farmer that was really enjoying that quiet countryside life, because that life is gone. But that's fine. I will take any excuse possible to build an airport, even if it just means moving some post-sorting facilities away from this one overly industrial side of the map to another industrial but somewhat less industrial side of the map. Now, today is going to be an interesting one, because today is the kind of day where I'm thinking we have to say damn it all, quite frankly. We have to say damn it all. I've had enough. I'm sick of it. Damn it all. All right. That's where I'm at, because we're going to put a dam across this river, because I've been talking about doing that for the last few episodes. And I saw so many comments on that last episode that were like, man, you said you were going to do this. You've not done it yet. When's the dam happening? Today's that day. I've been sitting on that play on words for the last 24 hours, and I'm so pleased. Now, here's what I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking we could probably do 2 hydro dams here, and I don't know how well they're going to work, but I really like the idea of doing one like here, right? And then another one down here. And I think I can get away with this. I think I can do this. So I'm going to take out this power line, and we're going to get started right away with trying to do this. And I, for the life of me, don't know how well this is going to work, because I haven't played with dams in Cities Skylines in a hot minute. It has been a while since I've played around with these things. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to keep the game paused while I do this. I'm going to try and level some terrain, so I have some terrain kind of level with the keys there, because I want to try and do something really specific. I want to try and have this be right at the edge, so that the water coming out of the dam is going to essentially go straight into a waterfall. So I'm looking at like here to there, and that instantly cuts away at the terrain and looks absolutely terrible. I don't love that. Although we do have some good little spots here that we could potentially connect to. I might have to move this guy down a little bit, which I'm totally okay with. I don't know why I'm doing that weird inflection. I'm talking like, I don't know if we're going to have to move this down a little bit, but I'm totally okay with that. I don't know what my accent's doing today. This is not what I'm looking for, though. This, on the other hand, is exactly what I'm looking for. So this is perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab the terrain down here, and I'm going to just flatten this out so that it's kind of right there. The dam is coming straight out of there, and that's going to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to grab a slope terrain tool, and I'm going to just sort of hit this like that. Well, actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that, because I do want that little shelf there, because we're going to try and do a second dam. So we're going to do this, and I don't for the life of me know how well this is going to work or not work, but I'm curious to see what happens. We're going to level this terrain a little bit. If I had something like key anarchy right now, I would be having a field day, because I'd be able to run these keys straight into the dam. Unfortunately, I don't. So I'm going to try and get these guys. Can they go any closer? Can I turn off like grid snapping? Shoreline required. Oh, okay. So we're going to have to go in here and try and flatten this out as well, and this out. And now can I do it? Can I get these guys a little bit closer? Shoreline required. That's unfortunate. I don't think I can. I don't think there's any way it's going to let me get these any closer. So we'll turn off road guidelines. We'll keep angle snapping. I don't think there's any way that dam's going closer. So I'm going to have to play around with some rocks and some terraforming or something like that. But let's just see what happens. Is this even working right now? It is 432 megawatts of power. So that is working instantly. That's working. And it bridges the gap for power in here. So that's good. That's what we're looking for. I guess question the second is, can I do it for a second time? And don't worry, this isn't just going to look like this the entire time. My goal is to make something that's going to look cool here. But I think what I need to do is level out this terrain, and I need to level out this terrain, because I need some terrain here. I need that narrow little channel there. I know it looks silly, but what I can potentially do if I turn my road guidelines back on is I can go from here So right about there, that's huge. That needs to be lower. That needs to be like, ooh, hold on a minute. It was lower, but it's just raised up because the water's coming through. I need it to be a little bit lower down for me to do what I want to do here. So I kind of need that water to go away right now. And it's going to flood the entire valley. This is going to be a problem for now, but that is essentially what I'm looking for. That right there. Also, I've realized that the top of a dam looks really similar to one of those water things, this thing, the flood wall. It'd be kind of cool if you could connect these together and put walls, roads on top of flood walls. But I mean, I'm looking for a feature in a game that's about to get a sequel, so I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so this is a good step, but I've realized that this second dam could arguably be wider because this sort of opens up a little bit down here. I don't really want this narrow channel coming through. Although, if I did bring this terrain up a little bit and I brought it out here, it would let me connect the roads to this dam a little bit easier. So maybe we do the two dams that look kind of similar. The only thing is the terrain up here looks kind of, yeah, I think we are going to have to do that actually. We'll keep them roughly the same size. Let's bring this terrain sort of back up here. Let's bring this terrain sort of back up here. And we'll just bring this out a little bit, something like that. We'll bring you out a little, something like that. I don't like this narrow channel. I don't love it, but I think we're just going to have to stick with it. And we'll just smooth out the sides a little bit here so it looks a little bit more, I don't know, deliberate, I guess. I don't love this, but I'm willing to see what happens. I'm willing to see if this works. I'm also kind of tempted to say we should raise the terrain in there just a little bit. Something like that should be totally fine. So that gives plenty of space for water to sort of gather. And then on this side, kind of the same thing. I think we probably want to do a little bit of a slope here for the dam right there. So something a bit like that. And we'll just run the simulation and see what happens. So this one is still working, which is good. This one's still outputting power. This one is also outputting power. So they are now both working, which means if I look at my power generation, electricity production is 1500 megawatts. This has instantly worked. I just don't know how I'm going to make this look pretty, because that's kind of something I'm concerned about, is making this look good. Because right now it looks terrible. So I think what we'll do to get started on improving this is I'm going to get rid of that set of trees and I'm going to move this guy into that space, because that way we free up this entire space for some roads. And then I'm hoping I can just sort of connect this guy to that corner. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And it looks like I can. It looks like we can just do that straight shot over there, which I'm very much okay with doing. It's not ideal, but it will do the job, and that's all I need it to do. This side's going to be a little trickier by the looks of it, which I don't love, but we can make that work. I guess what we could do is try and curve something over. That's maybe an option. I don't think it's, well, I guess that would work. That looks dreadful. Never mind. Absolutely never mind. I don't love the way traffic's behave, or the dam is behaving there. I don't like that I can see through it. I need something that's going to look a little better here is what I need. So that's a straight shot across, and that would be a straight shot. No, it wouldn't be. Oh man, this is going to suck. This is going to suck. I might have to redo some of this space. So these are just warehouses right now. So let me just move the warehouse for now. Let me get rid of this parking and let me get rid of this road, because I think we kind of need a more dedicated road for this anyway, because this is going to be a bridge. Let's keep that in mind, right? This is going to sort of take some of the traffic that would go across that bridge. Now I could probably do some kind of Old Town policy here, but I don't love the idea of doing that. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of doing an Old Town policy here. So we'll see what we can figure out. We'll also do, I'm kind of okay with doing this. I'm kind of okay with that as like a nice road leading up to the dam. I don't mind that. It probably should be a road with larger sidewalks. Probably should be an industrial road, to be quite honest, but we'll deal with it as is. And then for this side, I might have to move this guy as well. So let me get rid of two of you. Let me move you into that space. Let me bring this road right back. And there was a bus stop on that road, but I'm not really too concerned about that. And if I bring this down, we can kind of just go from, say, I'm going to say like here. and just curve that right up to the dam. So we have something that looks pretty similar on both sides, the way it sort of, you know, goes up to the dam there. I don't like that this side has a bridge. We're going to have to deal with that, but we can absolutely do that. I don't like how steep that road is either. And I don't like that it's a dirt road, but it might have to be a dirt road because I don't want to have to go and change all of the forestry roads. Although looking at this, that needs to be a little bit better. That needs to have a bit more of a gradual slope. So we'll get a very, very small slope terrain tool, and we'll just sort of go down around this building as best we possibly can, just to give us something that's a little bit more reasonable. In fact, let's bring this right back. Go from there. We'll start here. We'll bring this right around, and that should be a much more gentle slope. So if we bring you out, let's see, give me my road lengths. Give me, I want to say 10 units. Maybe that'll be enough. If we turn on road guidelines now, can I get a nice little something something? I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, that kind of works. Or I can just bring you straight over and we'll do a smaller little curve in there. And that's a whole lot better. Okay, so that gives us a connection on the first dam. I don't like this bridge. I really don't want it there. I'm gonna have to figure that out. So we'll take this back. And I guess it's just gonna be a case of pushing terrain a little bit further towards the dam. So something like this will hopefully get rid of that bridge. So let's just have a little look, and it does. Again, I don't love that it's a dirt road connecting to a dam, but it might just have to be that way since that's what we have on the other side. But that gives us our connection, and that's totally fine. We can play around with some trees to make this look like it's still part of the same forestry industry. A lot of these trees, keep in mind, I placed them by hand, so I might have to do the same thing through here. Unless I can move you back into position, which I totally can. So one of those guys can continue to live in there, and I'm totally okay with that. I'm actually going to just shuffle it a little bit because it looked like it was overlapping with that road. So that guy can live right there. We can put some plantations back in here, and then I think I just decorate this space with trees and stuff like that, and we'll be totally okay. Although in saying that, I'm going to do that in a little bit. I'm not really too interested in the landscaping this whole thing right now. I just wanted the dam. To be quite honest, I wanted to see what it looks like with traffic going over it. And honestly, I like that a lot. I really do. This one's going to be an absolute pain though. This one down here, I do want to connect it to things. I just have no idea how I'm going to do that because it is ridiculously steep to get there. Now, reasonably, what we could do is that. No, absolutely not. I'm kidding. I think what we'll do on this side is sort of bring a road out, and I'm going to try and slope it up to connect here. And then on this side, I might have to get rid of these guys and try and use that road as a means to get up there. We could sort of have it switch back and forth, kind of like that one road in San Francisco, but I don't think this is the place for that. So let me take you out for a second. And let me just see how steep this slope would be if I was to go from here to there. What would this look like if I wanted to do that? Would it be too much? Would it be too steep? That is kind of the question that I need an answer for. And looking at it and looking at those, looking at those contour lines, that looks like it's going to be really friggin' steep. I mean, it is. It absolutely is, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is kind of surprising. I was expecting it to be a whole lot worse. I mean, it's not. It's not practical. It's not very practical at all, but that might have to be the way of it. That really might have to be what we do here. We don't need traffic to be able to get across here. Let's keep that in mind. Like, it's not essential that traffic is able to get across this lower dam. I just want it to be able to because I think it's going to look cool. So that's kind of my goal with this. Now what we'll do is bring that to there. Let me turn on my guidelines again and let me see if I can line up with you. So from there to there, honestly, other than this little bit where it does get quite sharp, I don't hate it. I feel like I should though. I feel like I should hate this. I feel like I should be looking at this and just recoiling in terror, but I really don't hate it. I really feel like I should, but I really don't. I can also run that straight across there, which we're not going to do that, but man, I'm doing something here. I'm cooking. I'm cooking something. I don't know what I'm cooking, but I'm cooking something. Okay, I can't decide if this is ridiculous or genius. I can't decide if I love it or I hate it. This top one's completely fine. We have people walking from one side of the dam to the other. We have vehicles driving from one side of the dam to the other. But this bottom one, I don't suspect this road is going to get used at all, but I think it's needed. I think we need it there just for this to look proper. I think we need access to it. And honestly, we haven't done a lot with freeform roads thus far. And this does open up the potential for me to build some stuff down on those cliffs. It does give me room to do some detailing, so I don't completely hate it. I just really don't love it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. We're just going to have to live with it. Now, what I am going to do is try and smooth out some of the terrain on this side because it did get very, very sharp is what it did. So we'll try and smooth that out a little bit. We can make that look better as well. I'm probably going to push the terrain back. On this side, going to hit it with a little bit of a smoothing brush. So it's a little bit more gradual. Same with here and kind of just around all of these spaces. We're going to make it look a little bit more like it's been carved out of that space. And this side, kind of a similar story. We'll just hit it with a bit of a smoothing brush. And I think what I can do is I can probably go in here with some trees. I can probably use whatever these ones are. I think it's, is it these guys? It might be these guys. It's these ones. I can go in here and sort of dot them along this road. And it's kind of going to look... It's going to look okay, I think. I think I can get away with this. I think I can make this look like it was a little bit more planned, like it's a little bit more well, not natural, but you know what I mean. I can make it look like this was something I intended to do the entire time by just putting some trees along there. And I think immediately, you know, this isn't so much hiding our crimes as, man, trying to hide a body, but it's you know, this is a little bit more extreme than trying to hide some crimes, I think. That's kind of what I'm getting at. This is this is trying to hide, you know, billion-dollar fraud. And you know, I think since this road isn't used too much, I'm also going to use these guys right here, these vegetation patches, to try and make it look almost a little bit overgrown. I just need to use them, you know, the ones that are not way too big. So stuff like this, I think will go kind of a long way to just making this look a certain way. And I'm kind of okay with this. I think that's going to actually look really cool. It's just going to be so tedious to go along this entire road and place all of these patches of vegetation. But I think it's going to be worth it. I do. I think this is going to make this look a little bit less terrible and a little bit more, again, kind of deliberate. Like it's something that the city did out of necessity rather than... I don't know why I'm trying to justify this, man. I'm sitting here like, oh, how can I make this awful looking road look a little bit less terrible? Look, vegetation, all right? Detailing. It just goes a long way to making things look a little bit less crap. And that's kind of what I need here. So let me just look at that little patch that I've covered. And honestly, yeah, I think that looks so much better. I really do. Oh, this is such a long road to have to do that on. And you know what? I think I might have been right. Doing all this vegetation has made this thing look a little bit more deliberate. And then getting a little fence on this side as well, where we couldn't quite get as much vegetation. I'm kind of pleased with this. I also really like those red trees down here. I think they look kind of great. And I mean, let's be honest, this is a lot of detailing for a road that no one is going to use. I'm a little peeved about that. I'll be honest. I don't love that no one's going to use it, but I think that looks so much better than it did just with the trees and all that stuff. So I think I'm going to keep it. This side is pretty much going to be the same story. So very quickly, we can go ahead and do exactly the same thing on this side. So I think that's probably good enough for that lower connection. I think that'll kind of do the job. It's not as industrial as I was hoping for, but it's given us massive amounts of power. We have over 1,100 megawatts of power being generated right now. We have, how much in this one? 176. We have 240. So not really as much as I was hoping for. It's not quite the 300 that each of them were churning out earlier, but that's still pretty good. And I think this still looks kind of neat. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I think this is good. This top one kind of just needs blended in now. We need to figure out what's going to go into all of this space. And I think part of that's going to be bringing these trees kind of down and around here. I think this space is going to need a little bit of love just to make it look the part. So we'll go in and start taking out some of the parts that we don't need. And I want to have a little bit of a look at my forestry industry and see what exactly it does need. So you don't have enough buyers for products. You don't have enough buyers for products. So I would say it's reasonable to say that we don't necessarily need to get more of these guys. We don't need more plantations. So if we have a look at the industry, what could we get? We could get some maintenance buildings, or a maintenance building, or no, we couldn't. We can't get the barracks because it's absolutely huge. We don't need another main building. We could do some sawmills in this space. It might not be a terrible idea, although that's what the... Oh no, that's not what the pallet plants are for. We have got the engineered wood plant as well. It's a bit of a better size to fill in that space. And then we have the pulp mill, which is way too big to fill in that space. So we'll use the engineered wood plant since I think it's kind of neat. And it has some pretty good fences around it. So that fills in that space. And then in between all of this, this guy is unfortunately not going to fit. And I don't think there's anything else that is going to fit in there either. That's a little bit sad. I was kind of hoping I could be cheeky and get something in there, but I guess not. So I think what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll just get some fences kind of along here. Just to block that part off since we don't really need it. And we'll also have, let's see, if I turn off angle snapping for a second, I can kind of have this guy just run right alongside that building. So it looks like we're kind of enclosing things a little bit more. We can sort of do the same thing here as well. And then down around here, I would like to do that, but it looks terrible. So I think what I might do here instead is use some bushes to sort of enclose that. Although I also like the idea of doing some paths through there. We did have some people that are crossing this bridge or this dam on foot. So we could do some paths. I just don't know if it's necessary. I think maybe we just fill this with trees and we call it a day. I think we just put more of the, the beech trees? Yeah. I think we just put some beech trees in here and sort of call it a day. I don't think we need to go too crazy with this. So all I need to do, and this is what I did for so many of these guys, is line these up and sort of match the pattern that the plantations actually have. So something kind of like that. It just carries it through, you know? It just carries it through. And then over on this side, it's exactly the same story. We just place a whole bunch of these trees. So with that done, we now need to turn our attention to this side of things and figure out exactly what we're doing with this space. I'm wondering if I can get this... unfortunately, I can't get this warehouse back in here. I am wondering, though, if I was to just continue this road straight down, which I think I can do without messing things up too much, could I put that warehouse back in here? I absolutely could. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have that warehouse right about there. I've also realized that this is not supposed to be an industrial road. So what we'll do is go ahead and swap this guy out for the smaller, the regular 4-lane road right about there. And that seems just fine. And annoyingly, that does mess with my parking lots. So I'm going to get rid of this parking lot. I'm going to flip this warehouse around like so. So we still kind of have some symmetry going on, which isn't really important, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'm just going to push some of these nature reserve paths with decorations through here because I love these things so much for industrial spaces. They're just kind of grimy looking. They got some stones on them, but they have those janky looking street lights that I absolutely adore. So they're kind of perfect for what I want in that space. And I can put some trees in there. I can detail that space a little bit later on. But essentially, we still have everything that we previously had in that space, despite having the dam here now. So that's good. The only downside, really, is that the keys don't line up with the dam anymore, or with the, I guess, the waterfall. So I kind of wonder if I could hit this with a bit of a smoothing brush. Ooh, I don't know about that. Little bit of a smoothing brush, perhaps. Just a little something, something. Maybe use an even smaller brush to kind of bring this up to here. So on this side, it'll be a little bit sharper. So something kind of like that, I think, is pretty solid. This side can be a little bit more relaxed. Well, actually, no. I think I want this side to be a little bit sharper too. Because my thinking is I can probably use some rocks to make this look I don't know, like, not like it's a continuation of the key or anything, but just detailed. I can use some rocks to make this look kind of detailed, I think. Cannot build on water. Oh boy. All right, so let's see what I can do here. I can't build on water. I can't build too close to the key either, but I can build in here. And I think this is going to be good enough. We'll see how close I can get to the dam with this, which is apparently very close. So that's fantastic. I can absolutely build something that looks, you know, they didn't connect the key for whatever reason, but they did put some rocks in here to stop the terrain from getting eroded away a little bit too quickly. So just a little something like this. I don't like that there's going to be a gap there, but I think I can fill that with vegetation. I think we're gonna find out is what we're gonna do. Sort of. We can do a little bit of vegetation in here anyway, because it's gonna make this look, you know, a little bit older and a little bit more established, and like it's not just being recently built, which it has. But I think that looks fine. Maybe we throw a tree on there as well, so like one of these guys could live right about there. One of these guys could live right about there. I'm kind of okay with that. I don't mind that at all. And maybe we go and grab one of you. And can I get this thing at sort of the water level? I don't think it's going to let me do that at all. What about there? Does that look silly? That does look kind of silly. I don't love this. I don't love it. I don't love that I have to kind of make, you know, this kind of little thing here, but I think it's okay. I think we can agree that it looks better than not have, well, does it look better than not having it? I don't know. I actually don't know if it does. I don't know if it might look worse. I've somehow made it worse. Somehow nothing is better than something in this situation. That's kind of wild, but I'm going to commit to this bit and we're going to see if we can make it look good on this side. So it's going to be exactly the same story. We'll do some nice sort of chunky rocks right here. Maybe it just needs some variation in the rocks. Maybe we use some of the larger ones just to make this look, I don't know, make it look a little bit less terrible. And I think on this side, I'm going to experiment with leaving some of the dirt visible as well to see if that's maybe where I've gone wrong. Maybe it was just a few too many rocks and it's kind of got rid of the depth that the color of the dirt adds. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws, man. I'm surprised I somehow made it look worse. That's wild. So what about this? If I do something like that, maybe some rocks that kind of come up this way, maybe a couple of rocks that kind of just, you know, go that way. Does that look better? Not really. It's because they're stretching. That's the problem. Let's smooth this out again. Oh, that did not help. Oh, I've made it a lot worse now. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, that's unfortunate. That did get them below the water line though. So my question now is, if I now fill up this space with some rocks, does it look better? Now that we have some rocks beneath the water line. Actually, kind of. It's it's sort of an improvement. I guess. It's yeah. It's something is what I've done here. I've definitely done something. I can't build this on water. That's understandable. I can build it there though. And I can build it there and I can go there. And I want one there as well. Does that look better? Not really. Not really. I think this side definitely, actually, yeah, I think this side looks a lot better than that side. So let's hit you with a very, very slight smoothing brush as well, just very carefully. And let's see if I can get some, man, I can't believe this. I have never felt more ashamed in my life. But you know what? I think this is fine. I'm going to stop looking at it. And I think if I just fill up this space with a few trees, it'll kind of blend together and hopefully look a bit less awful. So we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. We'll get one of these little guys kind of here and here. And we'll get one of these guys maybe sort of on that corner with a couple of these smaller plants just dotted through to kind of blend it all together. And I think that looks fine. I think it looks fine. It's about as good as it's going to be. I think I want one of these sort of at that corner as well, just to sort of tie things together. So there we go. I'm actually kind of okay with that. I really don't mind it. I also love seeing traffic going across this. That is pretty cool. It's done nothing for traffic on this road. It is still a nightmare to get in and out of the industrial districts, but I am actually quite pleased with how this looks. And I think we could probably get a couple of these guys sort of in here as well to try and blend things together and make it look like there's sort of a fade out from the palm trees into the beech trees up here. And then this space, I think this needs to be industrialized. I think we need some buildings here. So we'll take these guys out. We have you. I don't think we need any more ore production. I think, honestly, we could probably just use more storage. So can I get a warehouse there? I absolutely can. Can I get a medium warehouse there? No. I could maybe do it if I had a road going up there, but I think it might be a bit too much. I think what I'll do is put this guy here, and we'll get a little small warehouse there. And yes, that creates a cliff, and no, I don't love that, but I'm sort of okay with it. I think it'll do. And what we'll do is just say that this is going to be ore products, I think. And then this one's also going to be ore products, I guess. I've got no idea if what we actually store in there, but that's what we'll do. We'll just put some warehouses there. And then around these, I can do some detailing. Around these, I can do some trees, and we can smooth out this this cliff just a little bit as well. So we'll try and, I don't know, make this look a little bit less awful. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we'll try. Just smooth that slightly. I don't know, smooth you slightly. Maybe hit it with a slightly larger smoothing brush. It's really, the smoothing brush really isn't doing much for me. So instead, I'm just going to do trees because they are kind of amazing at hiding my crimes. That's what this entire episode has turned into. It's do terrible things to my city and then use trees to try and disguise the fact that I've done terrible, terrible things to my city. Now, zooming out a little bit and looking at the rest of the city, there are a few patches here and there where there's just not enough goods to sell. And that actually has me a little bit concerned because this industry has mostly been enough for the city. It definitely wasn't this bad before. And it's making me wonder if a part of the problem is industrial traffic getting out of here, maybe heading back. I'm really not too sure. I mean, I will say it's also kind of frustrating that they're all using this one lane. So even traffic that wants to turn into the industrial zone is using that one lane. I'd really rather they weren't doing that. So this little road down here is about to become asymmetrical so that we actually have a dedicated turning lane here. So, oh wait, no, that's still not right. We'll do it this way. So now there's a dedicated turning lane, and that should help things a little bit. That'll hopefully split some of the traffic into that other lane and get them doing what I want them doing. It gives them a dedicated turning lane to get out of this space as well as going straight on, which is whatever. I'm not really too sure if we need that, but hopefully that's going to filter them around a little bit more. And hopefully that's going to start to alleviate some of the stresses that we have on this spot. I will say I might just do some traffic lights. I don't love doing traffic lights here, but I think it's potentially going to help us out. We'll try them for a bit. I mean, it is going to slow the traffic down and just bring it to a dead stop, but we'll try it for a bit. I'm also not sure why so much traffic sort of stops here, so I'm going to do the same in that spot. I don't love traffic lights coming off of a highway, but again, I think we kind of need to just let traffic flow for a bit, although annoyingly, looking at this, what's actually happening is this side on our left and this side on the right move at the same time, and it's doing nothing for us. Again, because the traffic's going straight down and also using that lane to turn left, so we don't have any... We don't have traffic using multiple lanes. I mean, it's classic City Skylines problems, you know? Traffic not using multiple lanes is kind of, you know, it's very textbook for this game. So what I think we'll do is change out this road for something asymmetrical as well. So we'll do this, we'll flip it around, and we'll do this, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how many lanes get used now, because there should be a dedicated left turn lane here at this point. And that's hopefully going to filter them through a little bit better. And it looks like it sort of is. It looks like they're now using all three lanes here, which is good. Yes, traffic down here is still kind of chaotic, but we'll see how that plays out. Up at this end of things, at the very least, we have a dedicated left turn, a dedicated right turn, and then a blended one for whatever reason. So again, we kind of have multiple lanes being used. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I'm not really too... I mean, I'm worried. I don't love this. This tailback is terrible. I'm not a fan of it, but we'll see what happens with the traffic lights. We kind of just need to give it time. Now, I think what I'm going to do while I wait for all of that traffic to get sorted out is I'm going to come into Hillside Park here and try to just build a district. We have a lot of demand for residential zoning. We have a lot of demand for commercial zoning. And admittedly, that's not necessarily going to solve the issue with not enough goods to sell. That's an issue that's going to be brought on by probably a combination of terrible traffic and a combination of a lack of industrial zoning, but we don't really have much demand for industrial zoning. We have a little bit low demand. So I want to deal with the demand that's a bit higher, and that is residential. And so I want to figure out how exactly I'm going to do that. Now, I really like that we kind of have this avenue sort of cutting through here. I like that it turns into a pedestrian one. I don't want to continue the pedestrian zone though. I'm not really too interested in doing that. So this guy is going to come out. We're going to need road lengths, angles, and grids, but we're not going to do guidelines. And it could cut straight across there, but I think what I'll do is bring it to here, and I'm going to try and do something like this. Now that is potentially going to cause some issues because this place is on a bit of a weird hill, but I'm going to try and make that connection. I'm not going to split Hillside Park into 2 districts. That's not the plan here, but I think something like that could be kind of interesting. I think we could maybe, you know, chop a little bit of this out and have a nice little curve going on. So 3 units there, say 3 units there, chop that out. And we'll do this. So we have a nice little turn there. And I think that looks okay. This is just sort of going to be the backbone of the district is what I'm thinking. So we'll go in here. We'll get ourselves some regular old roads. Well, I say regular old roads. I want the ones with the chunky sidewalks. And my thinking is we go up to here, and I think we go up to here, and we can sort of fill that gap in the middle, and then use this little space for some, you know, some paths or whatever it might be. I could take these out as well, in fairness. That is going to give us this corner kind of open, which I don't necessarily hate. And then this side, I'm kind of thinking of doing the same thing. I want to try and keep this relatively enclosed. And then I want to have these little green spaces kind of as little pockets around here so we can have people, you know, chill and do their thing. So bring you up to there, for example. And how would I want to connect these guys together? I guess something like this. I'm really not too sure what the zoning is going to end up looking like here, but we'll do that so it kind of follows around that way. We could make that a curve if we wanted to. I don't think I want to at the minute, but I might change that up. And then down here, I think we just do this nice stretch of road that goes the entire way down that hill. I think we try and, so what distance is this? That is 600. That's 600 as well. This side is 520. Which that's 480. That's 520 right there. So I guess it would sort of go like that. I think I am just going to keep these in relatively straight lines so that I can get as much zoning as possible. And I don't mind that. I don't love it. That road there is a little janky and a little steep, but I don't absolutely hate it. And it does give us a lot of space for parks and detailing and grass and paths and all that stuff, which is sort of what I'm looking for. So this, I think, is probably going to be our layout. Although I will say it might make sense to have a couple of connections through here. So this right here might not be a bad idea. That could probably even be changed to this kind of road. Go for the 4 lanes. Maybe we go for something a bit bigger and we do an actual avenue. I don't mind that, honestly. I really don't mind that. Again, we have the 2 turning lanes right there. We could do the same thing over here as well. I don't think it would necessarily hurt. I don't think I need to use a large avenue for this, but I think I'm going to, just so I can put some trees on it. And I think this is probably fine. Although right here, I'm also thinking we could maybe go ahead and just connect this straight through and then get rid of that guy. Obviously change the road up to one that matches. And I'm kind of okay with that. I think that's pretty solid. Also, would you line up to there? You do. I need to make that connection. That's perfect. That is, yeah, that's what we're doing with this district. I might even push this straight through. I think I'm gonna actually go back in what I was planning and just do a lot of connections through here and just see how it works. Give people so many options in and out of this district. It's going to be a nightmare for traffic on the avenues, but it's going to be good for getting people walking around. And hopefully it's going to be good for traffic within the district as well. So let's, speaking of people walking around, ooh, is this part of Hillside or is this part of Belmont? This is part of Belmont. Okay, we're not going to worry too much about that right now. Speaking of people walking around, let's very, very quickly do a pass on this with some paths. And so this, I think, will be just fine, but we do have to be careful with Hillside Park and how we lay things out, because it's worth keeping in mind that this place is very, very close to some industry right now. So I'm going to try a little something. I'm going to say that we do financial office buildings in here, but then I want to go to the district itself and I want to say modern city center, because this is a little bit, well, modern city center might not make a lot of sense. I don't think European's going to make too much sense either. The Korean buildings would probably be too tall. We have kind of gotten lower buildings as we move out here. So maybe we'll stick with default. Yeah, I think we'll stick with default. And then what we'll say is the commercial buildings, I guess, are going to be wall to wall, and the residential buildings are going to be wall to wall as well. But I want to get a policy on here. I want to go to my policies. I want to go to city planning and do a high-rise ban, because I want to see if we can get some slightly smaller versions of these buildings, because there are smaller ones. There's like, well, they're not that small. There's like this guy, right? There's this guy. They're not huge like maybe this one, but they might be good. And the reason I want those is because my thinking is plain and simple. These spaces here are going to be for financial buildings, right? So that's what those spaces are going to be right there. That's our financial buildings. And that's going to give us a nice buffer between industry and everything else. So I think we'll also do a little path in here. That seems like it would be a bit of a solid idea. We'll do, can I do that? Can I connect that? Ooh, I don't know if it's going to let me. Maybe just a regular path with no grid and no road lengths enabled. I can get it nice and close. That's perfect. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll go ahead and sort of let that build in a second, because I do want to get something in here. Now, I didn't realize the district, the zoning was weird here. Is there like a plaza I can put in that space? I don't really want something that looks like it's for a, ooh, that would be good. Yeah, I think that's what we do right there. We just do the, what is this one? This is the plaza with picnic tables. I think that's pretty solid. It can live right about there. And then behind it, we have this little space. And with this space, I mean, if I turn on grid snapping, can I just do a little path there? I absolutely can. And I'm sort of okay with that. I kind of don't mind that. If I change it out to have the same trees, it almost looks like sort of a deliberate continuation. I mean, it's not, but it fills up the space. And so I'm kind of okay with that. So we'll go ahead and let these guys build, if that's a possibility, which it is. Apparently the high-rise ban does work with these guys, which is fantastic news. And so I suppose the rest of this space is going to be a combination of things. I think what we'll do down the main avenue is a whole bunch of commercial. I think we'll do the same around here. And we'll do the same sort of, again, we got some weird zoning here. I think maybe we just disable zoning on that road. I think that's how we go. So we'll disable it there. I'll go ahead and put my beloved generic pine trees back on that road. And then that gives us some zoning right there, which is perfect. And the rest of this, I mean, this bit is arguably probably better off without zoning as well. So let's actually go in here. Let's get our road with median. We'll disable zoning there. And I think we'll do a bit of commercial just sort of in that corner. The rest of this is going to be residential though. So let's just go and adapt zoning on some more of these roads since we don't need it there. I don't mind it there. Do we have any more weirdness going on? I don't think we have too much of it. This curved road could probably get rid of it as well, but we'll keep it for now. Yeah, the rest of this, residential. So all of you guys are going to be residential zoning. Again, going to be some sort of weird spots here and there, but I'm not really too concerned about that. We'll do sort of the same thing here, the same down here, and the same down here. And then we'll take it out of these spots here so that I can maybe push some paths into those spots. And I think that is just about everywhere that I would want for zoning. These spots in the middle, I think we can probably get a little something in some of those corners. This bit's going to be largely open, but I might be able to turn that into sort of a Central Park looking thing. And I'm sort of okay with that. So let me just, before this all starts building, hit that with a bit of a smoothing brush just to get a nice smooth area to work with. We'll do the same thing sort of down here to get rid of some of those rock textures. and we can just let this build. It's also going to need an old town policy now that I think about it. So no one's going to be going through there. But I think this might look kind of cool, especially if these financial buildings. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right there. That's about as high as I want them to be. Oh man, some of these buildings are absolutely beautiful. Look at this guy. I'm going to make that a historical building right there. That is fantastic looking. It's small, admittedly, which is what it's supposed to be. But it's very, very cool. This one's kind of cool too. The red brick on it. I love that. I really do. These guys are, well, some of these guys are a little taller than I was hoping for. Ooh, I might need to change that. Oh my God, we got one on I'm making you historical as well. Good Lord. That's really cool looking. Some of these are fantastic, man. Some of these are so good. If a little bit tall. I don't love how tall they are, but we'll deal with that. We'll absolutely deal with that. Anyway, that space is hopefully going to build up in good time. I've just noticed how many postal vehicles are on this road. Oh my God. That's terrible. There's so many of them. This is why traffic's bad, because there's so many postal vehicles trying to get out to that airport. Oh man. Oh, speaking of the airport, and I'm glad I just spotted that because this is something I did actually want to do today. I saw a comment on the last episode that mentioned something about public transport. It mentioned specifically using cable cars as a means to get over to the airports. And I love that. I absolutely love that as an idea. Now, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do this. I'm really not, but I want to. So I'm thinking we do like a cable car stop maybe here-ish, or I could do one sort of down here. I think here for now is where we'll do it. And we're going to try and do sort of a terminus stop, a terminal cable car stop, just in here somewhere. And I think that would be so cool. I think this'll look great. I just don't know where to put it. Maybe we do like a little stretch of road down here for the cable car itself. So what if we had this guy sort of come down? I don't know what size this needs to be. Let me have a look at this thing. It is 4 units. Oh, it's 4 units. That's going to be a problem. Okay, so I'm not going to get symmetry here, which is a little bit annoying, but I can deal with that, sort of. I will have to deal with it, whether I want to or not. So we'll do this. We'll turn road guidelines or road lengths on. I could just do a stretch of road that comes out and then not loop it around. I guess that would make sense. So like there, basically. And then that's where our little cable car thing goes. So it lives there. And I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay. I do like the idea of doing a parking lot next to it as well. I probably shouldn't like the idea of doing too many parking lots here, but I'm thinking we're gonna do some parking lots here just to fill up this space. So let's grab the little one, and let's grab like a couple of these guys, and let's also grab let's grab this. Is what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think something like that's okay. We can put some bushes around it and detail it and all that good stuff. These guys are also not in line with each other, which, I mean, that kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping they would be, but we'll figure that out. So this is just going to run straight across here. I don't like that they're not in line with each other. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get them in line with each other, unfortunately. So maybe we don't have this one. That one kind of serves no purpose anyway. So we'll bring the cable cars right to the edge there. They could be a bit higher. There's not really any need for them to be higher though. So I think we'll just kind of leave it as is. And then we just need it to cut straight across to the city. And I mean, we have got some space here. So I'm wondering, oh, that's perfect. That's like the perfect spot. Can I do this without it? I can absolutely do this without it looking weird. Oh man. This is going to be so good. I am so sorry. I don't remember the username of whoever suggested this, but this is going to be amazing. I think. Does it go down into the valley? Oh no. Oh no. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. That is not what we want. Let me bring you forward a little bit and let me see if I can get these guys to link together. I don't want it going down into the valley. That is absolutely not what we want. So can I get it in line with the existing one? No, apparently. Okay, cool. That's that's great. That's great. I can just bring it straight over is what we'll do. So It doesn't really need to be that height. We can, oh no, if I lower it down, it's bad. It's real bad. So we'll bring it to there is what we'll do. And it actually lines up almost perfectly with that grid, which is pretty cool. I've got to be honest. I like that. Let's bring it back and let's just, if I lower this down, does it look weird? We can lower it over a bit of a distance. I think we'll manage that. So we'll bring it to about there. And then I guess we just have them go. I don't really love the diagonal. I'm gonna be honest. I don't love sort of cutting these guys across like this, but I think it's kind of what we're gonna have to do. So maybe we try and do that over a bit more of a distance. So let's see if we can get it sort of even. So this is roughly 280 and that's about 280 right there. So connect those together. We'll do this. And that seems fine. That seems really cool. I really like that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have to do lines for that, do I? No. There they go. Oh my God. Dude, the view. Oh, this looks ridiculous. This looks absolutely ridiculous. But man, that is such a good way to get over there. This is going to be so busy. And we do have some bus stops around the corner as well. So that's going to be pretty popular, I think. Do we have any metro lines nearby? Yeah, just around the corner as well. That is perfect. That's such a good, I love that. I absolutely love that. I don't know how popular it's going to be. I don't know if people are going to want to use it. And I do think I have to just, like I said, get some detailing around this. So very, very quickly, this isn't going to be a lot of detailing. I just want some bushes to surround this thing so it looks, I mean, it kind of looks like something that's been built onto the airport after the fact, which is accurate because obviously it has been. But man, this is it's kind of wild. And there we go. We got just a little bit of detailing. It makes this thing look the part. We got people actually parking here as well. And we actually have a good number of people walking over here too. Some of the Sims are starting to ignore the bus stops and they're just getting cable cars to the city, which I think makes sense. I have a feeling those cable cars are going to be ridiculously busy. And it's kind of the same story on the other side as well. There's a lot of Sims coming over here, getting on the cable cars and using that to get to the airport, which is exactly what we wanted. Now moving back towards Hillside Park, I've decided to go ahead and just fill in a lot of the space with trees the way we always do. We got the generic pine trees lining a lot of the paths. We have this just cutting through here, which admittedly, I don't think this looks amazing. I don't know that I'm completely satisfied with how this looks, but I also don't completely hate it. I think what I might do is play around with the idea of having some dirt paths come through here. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but I think we'll give it a shot just so it looks like there's maybe some trails that people take to kind of come down around. I don't love how this connects here, but it's whatever at the end of the day. We'll bring something kind of down this way as well. Maybe connect it like that. And I think that's all right. Again, it's a bit weird. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but it's what we're doing. On this side, we'll cut over here and cut to about there. And then what I can do with these dirt paths as well is I can kind of just use those as the basis for a few more trees and some bushes and some shrubs and stuff like that, just so it looks like, I don't know. I like the idea that it's being carved out. It's not so much something that the city has done. It's not so much something that's been done by like design. It's more that people looked at this little patch of grass and went, you know what, man, I could probably just walk across that rather than walking around the city block. And so they've kind of just started walking across it, and over time the grass is worn away and it's just some gravel and some dirt that's been left behind. And then, you know, maybe some tree, maybe some stuff was planted either side of it. I just like it. I just think it's a nice little way to get some color variation in there as well. So I think that looks pretty good. We'll do exactly the same thing just here as well. Surround kind of the ends of it with some shrubs and stuff like that. And I think that's probably about all we need to do for this space. And yeah, I think that was the right call. It just added a little something different in there, made it look a little bit more interesting, and zoomed out, it's just a little bit more color variation. I will say, speaking of this district, traffic is terrible. There's so many trucks trying to get through here. It does look like it's because there's no traffic lights here though. So let's very quickly just go and enable some traffic lights and see what that does for the area. I think over here we can go and just do some stop signs, and I think there are probably a good few spots around here where we can do stop signs, since that was kind of the idea for a lot of this, was that it wasn't going to be, it was, you know, this road going through Hillside Park, for example, just needs stop signs all the way along it. This right here, similar story with all of those, similar story down here, and a similar story right about there as well, and right about there as well. And then I suppose at the end of that avenue too. So that'll hopefully get people moving around a little bit. Traffic's definitely less chaotic in this intersection, which is what we're looking for. And it does look like it's starting to filter out. So I think the traffic lights did good. And speaking of traffic lights doing good, they didn't really do all that good over here, unfortunately. I think there's just a lot of traffic in this space. We might need to look at alternate ways of getting people in and out of here, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I really don't want to hit this button. I really don't want to see my traffic flow right now, but it's 72%. As long as it's above 70, I'm not going to say that that's a win, but I'll be surprised is what I'll say. Anyway, I think we can probably go ahead and leave it there for today. I know these dams were a relatively small project. They weren't really and aren't really super detailed, but I do love how these roads turned out. I really like this detailing. I don't usually use palm trees. I don't use those rad ones a lot, so I'm kind of pleased about this. I think it looks good. And that's without even mentioning the fact that we now have more power than we know what to do with. And speaking of more things than we know what to do with, there are now more Sims using these cable cars than the cable cars know what to do with. There are 500 Sims were serviced last week at this one station heading over to the city. And you can just see how many are going back and forth. It's kind of nuts, but it's kind of what we wanted. And then of course, Hillside Park has been a nice little extension to the city. I'm really loving continuing these generic pine trees through here. I think it just ties everything nicely together. And there's definitely something to be said for wall-to-wall buildings with a bunch of nature in between them. I love this look. Now, when it comes to traffic, I think we're going to have to start taking some drastic action. It's not getting better. It's been terrible for a little while, so we might start having to carve out chunks of the city and then pushing new highways and interchanges and connection points into those chunks of the city that we carve out. I don't really want to do that. I think we could probably improve public transport, but that's sort of what I'm thinking for the future. Not the next episode, but definitely the future. Anyway, that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.